Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tokyo Ghoul rediscussion. Today, we're going to be talking about an interesting topic. I think the most talked about topic in this series so far, and that is, will Kaneki die at the end of Tokyo Ghoul Re? Now, I think it is a topic that a lot of people are concerned about, and a lot of people are very curious as to see where what is the fate of our main character, because as we know, this series is meant to be a tragedy, and in some cases, tragedies do end with the main character dying. So today we're just going to be discussing that. I didn't really write down anything, just kind of put some things up, but the reason why is I do want this to be a very deep discussion. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on Kaneki's fate and how do you see this series ending. So without any further ado, let's just jump into this. Like I said, we know that this series is set up to be a tragedy. It's been presented as that, and we do know that in the series of Tokyo Ghoul, the original series, it was set up that way. It was brought to us that way, and Kaneki did indeed pass and rested at the end of Tokyo Ghoul after his fight with Arima. But then we saw in Tokyo Ghoul Re, he was brought back as this character named Heise. Now, a lot of people believe that because he was brought back, it symbolizes a rebirth, a return, and I guess just an overall resurrection, where this basically signifies that he will not be dying. He will stay and he will be there up until the end, and he will have a future in the end. And I can understand that, and I can see that. But again, it has been noted that Tokyo Ghoul Re is supposed to mirror, in a sense, it's supposed to mirror and reflect the past story of Tokyo Ghoul. So if we take that into context as well, it could be possible that our main character might face the same fate as he did in the original series, but this time in a more literal sense than a symbolic sense, where in Tokyo Ghoul he did rest, but he was brought back to life, and maybe in Tokyo Ghoul Re he finally goes to rest forever, and he is brought back through maybe the influence of other people or through the way that society functions at the end of the series, as to how society comes out of this at the end of the series, because we do know Kaneki will be the one that brings the humans and the ghouls together, but it does not mean that he will be there at the end. An interesting kind of transition, I guess, that you could say, when Martin Luther King, when he the day before he passed. I know this has nothing to do with it. The day before he passed, he gave a speech saying, I have seen the mountains, I have seen the promised land, and then he said, I will not make it with you there, but I have seen the promised land. And I think, and I know this has nothing to do with Tokyo Ghoul, I'm sorry, but what I'm trying to say is, Kaneki does, I think, in a way, envision the future, and I think we do envision this future, although this does not mean I necessarily see it with Kaneki there, and Kaneki being with us there at the end. So, I don't know. Again, we don't really know. A lot of people think that the way that Kaneki might pass is the same way that Lelouch did in Code Geass. I'm not going to explain how he died, and if you haven't seen the series, please go check it out. But if you guys have seen The Dark Knight, which is the second movie in Batman, it kind of plays the same way. Basically, he becomes the hero we need, but we do not deserve. And I'll just phrase it like that. I think that Kaneki will become the hero that we need, but we do not deserve, and because of it, he takes a sacrifice, which is his whole entire life, so for the greater good, so that humanity and ghouls, just society itself, can finally live a life where they can have peace. And it does not necessarily mean that Kaneki won't be there. He could still be there. It's still a possibility. But we don't necessarily know whether or not he will make it. But I do have faith that he will be there. And that's the only thing that we can really go on with as to quote Toka in at the end of the series, she looks up at the sky and says, "I have faith in him," and she says she knows that he will return to Anteku. She doesn't say, "I have faith that he will return into Anteku." She says that she knows he will return into Anteku. But here's the catch: he can return to Anteku does not mean he literally will be there. Okay, he does not have to physically be alive being there. I think this might also mean that he will return, but it could be possible that he will not return himself. Just his influence will return to Anteku, and this environment that Anteku created will be spread across the world. So, I don't know. Those are my thoughts. It seems like I'm leaning more towards the fact that Kaneki is dying, and I do believe he is going to die. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I still hope, because I don't want him to die, right? Yeah, I don't think none of us do. I do hope that he does live and that we do get to see a future with him, and people's ships can go places and everything like that, and we can see somewhat of a happy ending with this series. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on what you think about the uh, the end of this series, and where our character will end up. Uh, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.